policy that turns your neighbors into German Stasi-era informants reporting on their child's school librarian just went into effect in Louisiana, thanks to their Attorney General being a sore loser. On Tuesday, the Attorney General of Louisiana launched an online form encouraging residents of the state to report librarians who they suspect of stocking sexually explicit books, talk of being Orwellian, or anything else they might object to being seen by their kids, who they suspect of stocking books, not even with proof. I said that librarian looks a little shifty to me, report them, ruin their lives. This comes after a failed investigation by said Attorney General Jeff Landry, where he aimed at library books he thinks are corrupting kids with no research to back it. The investigation hasn't turned up any legal material, but rather than admit defeat, Landry is pandering to conservative parents' worst nightmares. Of course he is, by soliciting tips from the public to unveil what he describes as the taxpayer-subsidized sexualization of children. The form also allows members of the public to snitch on teachers, school board members, district superintendents, and library supervisors as well. Like it's not hard enough being an educator these days. Let's make it more challenging and try to root them out of the important service they're giving to our kids. A page from his website explains how he's fear-mongering. Librarians and teachers are neither empowering nor liberating our children by connecting them with books that contain extremely graphic sexual content that is far from age appropriate for young audiences. Reads a page on Landry's website titled Protect Minors. Louisiana, of course, is just the latest in a long list of Republican psychos that are making up problems out of thin air and then making it the only thing they talk about because they don't want to fix real problems. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has instructed the public to report parents with trans children as child abusers. He's also directed Texans to email him personally with tips on school librarians. Are they confusing real librarians with librarians in porn movies? They are the sexually explicit ones. Leave the regular librarians alone. Glenn Youngkin has also introduced a critical race theory tip line. Librarians are trying to fight back against this insanity while being very quiet. Some librarians say they are flooding the form with accolades for librarians and teachers and report their harassers to the state.
Look,
that's a start.
Yeah, look, the Republican Party's lost its mind. Let's be clear about it. Now they got a war on librarians. Like librarians are the real problem in the country. Not bankers, by the way. No, the bankers are protected by Republicans. Not corporate executives that have been robbing us blind for all these years and legally bribing politicians and getting them to do whatever they want. Not the oil companies, not the richest people in the world, not the most powerful people in the world. No, it's the goddamn librarians. Really, you right-wing schmucks, you believe that? You believe that the real problem is the librarians? And Landry then does an investigation and turns out he was totally wrong. None of the books that he thought was in the library were in the library. But undeterred, because he doesn't care about facts. He's trying to do propaganda. He's not just trying to get you to hate other people, in this case LGBTQ people, and then when they talk about critical race theory, that's a graduate level class. It's not in the school libraries, it's not in the school textbooks. No, they're just saying, oh yeah, we don't like teaching racism, do we? I mean, come on, we're here in Louisiana. We don't want people to find out our ancestors were racist. So let's just stop teaching it, let's just stop teaching it. So the fact that he's not backed up by evidence is irrelevant to him because he was doing propaganda in the first place. It's not like he was actually trying to find inappropriate books in the library. He knew they didn't exist. And the other thing with these guys, this is always protection, guys, always protection. When he says, oh, let's protect the minors, that means in his head, it's constantly running through, I bet everybody wants to have sex with minors. Gee, I wonder why Landry's thinking that. We just told you, look, we've done this week alone, how many stories? Like half a dozen stories. The one we did yesterday, QAnon, one of the QAnon leaders, okay, made so much money, bought like a $1.7 million house from all the money he collected from QAnon followers, right? Turns out, slept with a 15-year-old. Of course. Whenever they call anybody a groomer, they're very likely to be groomers. And by the way, he groomed her when he was a coach in the school, and she was a 15-year-old girl in the school. So these perverts, these pedophiles, these groomers that are right-wingers, then go, oh, I bet it's the librarians. Yeah, I bet it's the librarians. And right-wing schmucks all across the country are like, yeah, it's probably the librarians. And of course the teachers. No, leave the bankers alone. The real problem is the teachers. Let's go attack them.
Librarians aren't sexualizing anybody. They don't even let you talk out loud. They don't let you do anything.
Listen, this is you hit the nail on the head. This is not about facts at all. You know who don't know what's in the library? People who don't go to the library. Republicans clearly don't go to the library. If there were, this is the strangest story. I can't even wrap my head around how we got here. How did we get here? But keep in mind, these are the same group of people, or his audience is the same group of people who didn't want to defund the police until they wanted to defund the police. These are the same people who fly an American flag beside a Confederate flag and also storm a Capitol and try to take over democracy because they don't like what happened at the election. Therefore,
alongside a Trump flag too.
Oh, don't forget the Trump flag, which is the American flag to them.
Mm-hmm.
You should know that. You should know that. Their definition of Old Glory is Trump's first campaign flag, not the Stars and Stripes. So, and I listen, but let's check this out. Here's the irony of all of this. Here's the irony of all of this. The most underpaid people are being criticized for being elite woke groomers by a party that supports the shenanigans of Donald Trump, the extravagant lifestyle of Donald Trump's kids charging our Secret Service that were protecting them to use the bathroom at their neighbor's house in Georgetown, Washington, D.C. I am completely, whenever I hear Republicans talk now, it's literally Charlie Brown BS to me. There's no facts in it. It's all about how do I get the most money from these poor white people. I heard a story about these librarians. This one guy gave up his son's college fund to help fight Louisiana's Attorney General's case. He donated so much money that his kid's college is in jeopardy, college education in jeopardy, because he believed it so much. I'm at a loss. I need this level of trickery for my nonprofit so that we can fund Black Male Voter Project. Like maybe we should say everybody that works at Starbucks is over roasting beans in an effort to cover up their weed smell. Starbucks is the weed.
Yeah, and Charlie Brown's a good analogy there because when they speak, it is like the teacher with but also every time they go to collect on the promises of these Republican leaders, it's like Lucy pulling the football away. They never see it, ever.
Yeah, what's the only thing Trump did? Passed a $2 trillion tax cut for the rich.
For the rich.
Right, and so, and by the way, Black Male Voter Project, great project by Mondale. We'll put the link down below. Make sure you check it out in the description box. Last two things on this. Where did it come from, Mondale asked? Well, I'll tell you where it came from. Southern Strategy. The Republicans have been running that since the 1960s. And what is that? It's an avowedly racist strategy to pick up the racist voters in the South that the Democrats left behind when they did the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act. And it was a strategy by Nixon. Everybody knows it. The RNC has apologized for it a couple of times, but they're still doing it. So that's the attack on critical race 3 comes from the history of racism in the Republican Party that dates back to that strategy. Where did the hatred against the LGBTQ folks come from? It didn't come from Trump. It came from a long line of hatred against gay people from the Republican Party, including 2004 when they put ballot measures in all the states against gay marriage so that it would drive hateful people to the polls so that they would vote for George Bush over John Kerry. So the Republican Party has been doing this hate for a long, long time. And why did they target teachers? Because the teachers' unions give to the Democratic Party. So they want to make sure they cut off that source of funding for the Democratic Party. So they're tearing the teachers apart as part of a political attack against Democrats. That's what this is all about. It has nothing to do with protecting children or any of the things that they're saying. It's all political to try to help Republicans and of course their donors, who are the corporate executives and the bankers that actually run this country. And then finally, look, when I was growing up, there was a stereotype that, liberals are nice, but the Republicans are the smart party, right? They know what they're doing. The liberals are well-meaning, but they don't have it figured out, right? Now, that was a long time ago. Now, the Republicans are mean. Everybody knows they're the party filled with jerks and rude and hate and all of that. Plus, they're now also known, rightfully, as the idiots that are looking to blame the librarians for our problems. So what's left in the Republican Party? I can't believe anybody can still call themselves a Republican and not be humiliated.
And because they're such echo chamber idiots, it's never isolated incidents either. Always spreads these exact issues right through. So it's not just Louisiana. Also in Tennessee, the current Attorney General, when running for office last summer, flirted with the idea of prosecuting librarians for what is on their shelves. These things just metastasize every time.
100%.
Books will get you locked up. I might.
It's really crazy.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.